and a divorced mother and father received very little. I will not abandon my mother on her own. I will thus see to it that my mother is taken care of. With the exception of Tamar, none of my siblings have assisted me in taking care of my mother to ensure her well-being. Mommy's auto insurance is due before Vince's, but nobody mentioned, this is before Vincent. Let's assist Tony with his mother's auto insurance. Mom needs a car. Normally, I would never discuss financial assistance with my mom with Trina, or any of my sisters. However, I had to tell her how I felt, because I'm under a lot of stress in that area. Every day, it hurts my feelings. I'm in a financial predicament, because I can't work the way I want, which hurts my feelings every day. Fans are in disbelief as Toni Braxton made the most unexpected decision in the Braxton family's history. After discovering that $50,000 had inexplicably disappeared from Tamar's account, Toni allegedly booted Towanda off the upcoming Braxton family relaunch, according to many insiders, and now confirmed by Tamar herself. Additionally, the route is said to go directly to Towanda's name. This isn't a small-scale sibling dispute. This is a sorority of deceit and fraud, totally collapsing in real time. When Tamar learnt that her business finances had been depleted, she was allegedly upset. However, she later found out that the cash had been transferred through a common family trust, which Towanda had surreptitiously accessed without authorization. Toni didn't think twice after learning the truth. She asked to be removed from the show right away, and informed the producers that she would not film another scene with Towanda. Tamar isn't putting up with Evelyn's attempt to minimize it as a family miscommunication, and neither is the internet. The receipts are messier than anyone could have predicted, and what began as a Braxton family gathering has now become a major financial scandal. Whether she's a sister or not, Towanda is out after Toni said what she said. Toni Braxton's unexpected phone call was the beginning of it all. A questionable transaction was reported by VH1's finance department. $50,000 has been discreetly taken out of a common company account, connected to the Braxton family reboot's pre-production funding. Everyone initially thought it was a mistake, perhaps a delayed transfer, or an error in the budget. However, they discovered something far more calculated when Toni insisted on answers and an internal review. The funds didn't simply disappear. It was redirected to a Towanda Braxton-related account. And everything fell apart as soon as Tamar learnt. Tamar has been making significant investments in a production sub-brand associated with the show, which included a digital documentary series that focused on her recovery process, and a cosmetic collaboration. That one. The $50,000 was meant to pay for location holds, camera crews, stylists, and merchants. Rather, the project was put on hold in the middle of the week, because missing money. Tamar experienced confusion, terror, and illness. That money was everything I had left after the last deal fell apart, she allegedly said to a close friend. It was mine, and somebody took it like it was nothing. Toni, who is normally calm, began digging right away. She contacted the legal counsel for VH1, requested a line-by-line copy of every report on shared expenses. Everyone was astounded by what they discovered, even Toni. The money had been transferred in little amounts over the course of 3 weeks, barely meeting reporting requirements. It wasn't a single, large withdrawal. Every digital trail led back to Towanda, and it was all pre-arranged. Toni became enraged as soon as she noticed Towanda's name on the redirected funds. She didn't give a call. She didn't send a text. With the receipts in hand, she arrived at the family show's set and strode directly into the green room where Tamar was struggling to stay composed. Toni said bluntly, she did it. Towanda was the one. Tamar fell back into the chair. She wouldn't, of course. Toni, meanwhile, merely gazed at her icy pain. She has already done so. That same day, the altercation took place. Toni insisted that production stop filming. "This is a scam. I'm not filming with a robber." She didn't recoil when producers attempted to soothe her. The location, the lights, and the glam squad can all be replaced, but trust cannot. And all of that was broken by Towanda. When Toni entered Towanda's caravan, with the contract folder in his hand and an angry, trembling voice, she was taken aback. She questioned, "What the hell were you thinking?" Towanda attempted to act foolish. However, Toni dropped the documents on the table and asked, "What are you talking about?" $50,000. The money of my tiny sister. Absent. Redirected. Signed by you. Quiet. Towanda's mouth quivered. "I didn't intend to." However, Toni interrupted her. "You intended to. It was planned by you. You simply didn't intend to be discovered." Tamar was unable to even look at her sister. When they happened to cross paths in the hallway, Tamar whispered, "You robbed me. And you think I'm supposed to pretend like it didn't happen, because we're family?" She shook her head, "No, not this time." Later that evening, Evelyn was called in to try to make things right, and her initial reaction was, "This is just a misunderstanding." She insisted that they handle it privately off camera for the benefit of the show. The family was divided, and now that we're back on TV, don't ruin it with further turmoil. However, Tamar no longer cared about safeguarding the program. Instead, she stole from me. "Mama, do you want me to smile in her face while she cashes my money?" By the end of the week, Tamar had withdrawn from the next 2 days of filming. Toni filed a formal complaint with the network, and Towanda was escorted off the set. Trina attempted to mediate, but was unable to change the facts. Towanda had betrayed her own blood, and this wasn't the first time money had got in the way of their relationship. This was supposed to be our comeback, but for Toni, there was no comeback. She yelled following a furious altercation with production. "You don't rob your family and then expect to be accepted back, as if nothing had occurred." Everything was captured by the cameras. The explosion, the hush, the strain. Additionally, the internet will crash when the video leaks. It didn't take long for the rest of the Braxton family and the internet to learn about what had transpired on set. As soon as word got out that Toni had fired Towanda from the show for allegedly stealing $50,000 from Tamar, social media became a courtroom, with fans searching through old clips, interviews, and deleted Instagram accounts for early indications of betrayal. What they discovered painted an unavoidable picture. This wasn't a first-time offense. Producers were in full damage control mode back at VH1 headquarters, reviewing contracts and going over the confrontation footage frame by frame. Several crew members confirmed on blogs that Towanda had been escorted off set against her will. This was a pattern that had been developing for years. "It's the betrayal for me," she reportedly told a producer. "I let her in again," while Tamar was unraveling. One assistant claimed she was yelling at Tamar, the producers, and even the hairstylist like she was betrayed. "But sis, she got caught." And she spun around, inserting a knife in. "You didn't just steal from my account," Tamar told her in front of her. After years of heartbreak, trauma, and rebuilding, Tamar had believed in this reboot. She saw the show as a second chance, a way to reconnect, to heal, to redefine what the Braxton legacy could be. She never imagined that her own sister would jeopardize everything, especially for money that Tamar claims wasn't even worth the damage it caused. Cameras. "You stole from my future, from my trust, from my healing," she said in the video that is currently being discussed behind closed doors at the network. How do you recover from that? Evelyn was the first to go into full-fledged defense mode. allegedly calling Toni and Tamar separately and pleading with them not to involve outsiders in the matter. She allegedly informed Tamar, "This is a family matter. We don't let outsiders pick at our wounds," but Tamar wasn't listening. "That's the problem, Mama. You call it a wound. I call it a robbery." Then Evelyn said something that caused a stir online. Perhaps she needed it. Fans couldn't believe Evelyn would try to defend stealing, much less from her own daughter. "This is why Tamar doesn't heal." One Twitter user wrote, "She's surrounded by people who think her pain is a paycheck." These 4 words were screenshot, reposted, dragged, and analyzed across every platform. Even Trina, who has always maintained her neutrality, was unable to remain silent this time. She shared as sisters should lift each other, not rob each other, she wrote with a picture of herself and Tamar. In less than 12 hours, that post alone received over 250,000 likes. Then, Toni Braxton's previous cautions reappeared. In a 2018 interview, Tracy had implied that some family members had a tendency to borrow money and neglect to repay it, saying, "Sometimes it isn't about the money, it's about the principle, about how folks treat you once they get what they want." At the time, everyone thought she was talking about a distant cousin, but now fans are putting the pieces together. She was talking about Towanda. One fan wrote, "Tracy saw this coming years ago." Tamar shared the same video with just one caption. "Tracy attempted to inform us." Currently, the internet was fully operational. Every previous dispute between Towanda and money was dissected in Reddit discussions. Videos of her boasting about her skincare brand, which many now believe may have been partially financed by the money she redirected, surfaced. The defense of misunderstanding was no longer persuasive to fans. They were referring to what appeared to be deliberate theft. She wasn't playing either, Toni. According to sources, Toni told producers, "I don't care if this ruins the format of the show. She's not filming with me again. Period." In response to the network's question about whether she would be amenable to a reconciliation on camera for ratings, Toni allegedly said, "Reconciliation requires repentance, and she hasn't even apologized." Evelyn kept downplaying the circumstances. She stated, "Families go through storms, but we are not defined by our darkest moments," in a brief appearance on a small Christian podcast. She was obviously attempting to control the narrative, but the fans were fed up. "Your darkest moments keep being public, because you'll never clean up the mess. You just sweep it under a bigger rug," a commenter said. VH1 did not make an official statement, but behind the scenes they were re-editing teasers, revising episodes, and removing Towanda from promotional materials for groups. Quietly but clearly, her name was being wiped. Towanda continued to remain silent, offering neither an apology nor a statement. However, that stillness would be deafening because of what Tamar was going to reveal. Tamar did not choose to remain silent, but Towanda may have. Tamar did what she does best after witnessing her sister avoid responsibility for days, and Evelyn portray the event as just another Braxton storm. She took the receipts out. Tamar went live on Instagram late one evening. There was only a somber, icy rage in her eyes, no glitter or filter. She remained silent for a while. She simply raised her phone and panned the camera slowly across the screen of her laptop. Screenshots, time-stamped emails, and a digital paper trail were all there, demonstrating how the $50,000 was taken from Tamar's business fund and transferred into an account in Towanda's name that was concealed behind a sham account for Braxton Legacy Holdings. "You all wanted proof," Tamar replied in a cold tone. "Here it is. This was a setup, not an accident or a mistake. And she believed I would never discover it." The feed almost crashed, because the comments were flooding in so quickly. "She actually took it, not Legacy Holdings, oh my gosh. Toni was correct to fire her." As everyone watched in real time, Tamar browsed through the transaction records. Every payment was less than 5,000. Tamar went on, spread out, calculated, and hidden in a way that suggested Towanda didn't just steal, she planned it. I was being dramatic, she informed the producers. She informed her mother that I was exaggerating the situation. But how are you going to blow up something that's in black and white right here? She hesitated. You took more than simply cash. You stole tranquilly. You had faith. It took you some time. I am unable to return. And for what purpose? Waist trainers, several wigs and a skincare line. In a matter of minutes, fan forums, Twitter, and TikTok were inundated with live clips. Her voice had become a rallying cry, trembling with treachery. As if things couldn't get much worse, Tamar then left a voicemail. Just 1 week before the scandal, Towanda left a genuine, unaltered voicemail. Don't stress out when you see the account information, Tay. I had intended to inform you. It's not like I'm stealing you. I just needed to reorganize a few things. We are related. The internet went crazy. The term, "we're family," became the most popular one of the day, and not in a positive manner. Towanda was attacked by fans for stealing digital content and using sisterhood as a weapon. With a phrase that cut like lightning through all platforms, Tamar ended her life. You don't steal from someone you care about. You take advantage of someone you believe won't defend themselves. And I'm no longer that girl. The tale ran on blogs for days. Betrayal was screaming in headlines. Audio of Towanda's 50,000 theft is leaked by Tamar. Her removal is demanded by fans. Toni doesn't waver. No fraudulent filming. As receipts plummet, the Braxton family collapses. The production offices of VH1, however, were in disarray. Filming had already been stopped once. They were forced to think about a complete rebranding after the receipts were made public. Towanda's done. There's no coming back from this. She's out, a production-related insider informed a gossip website, but Evelyn wasn't giving up. She went live herself, contemptuous, defensive, and unable to acknowledge the reality of the situation. Families experience hardships. Money comes and goes. We don't argue over money. The audience was no longer buying her polished, calculated tone, which was infused with mother energy that she had weaponized for years. Money doesn't just go. It was stolen, said a fan. After Tamar reposted Evelyn's video with the brief caption, "Let her tell it." I'm always the problem, but the math never lies, another person commented. You covered for her once again, and now Tamar is paying the price. Then came the fan firestorm, with hashtags like #FireTanda and #Justice for Tamar trending back to back. Throughout it all, Towanda remained silent and deactivated comments. Some fans even demanded that Tamar get her own spin-off that was entirely unrelated to the Braxton brand, while others asked Toni to executive produce a series that focused on healing the legacy without the toxicity of those who continued to abuse the name. She unfollowed Toni and deleted all of the family show's promotional posts from her Instagram page, but the damage was already done. Her silence combined with Tamar's receipts became an admission louder than any press release. And tomorrow she wouldn't be crying anymore. Instead, she would be regaining everything that had been taken from her. The fallout was no longer just emotional. The decision was final on the inside, but on the outside, the chaos was just getting started. Towanda's name was now removed from all future promotional materials related to the Braxton family reboot. VH1 quietly started removing her from the call sheets. Publicity schedules were rewritten, and group appearances were reduced to Toni and Tamar. More documents began to surface a few days after Tamar's shocking receipts revealed Towanda's digital theft trail. This time, they were leaked by a disgruntled VH1 employee who was fed up with seeing Tamar silenced and gaslighted. They posted screenshots of legal memos demonstrating that Evelyn had been informed of Towanda's actions days before Toni was informed and had chosen to remain silent. She was informed that there may have been a breach of contract involving unauthorized fund access, but Evelyn responded in an internal email. "We can't afford another issue this early in the rollout, so let's handle it inside." The backlash was immediate. Blogs attacked Evelyn, and fans questioned why a mother would conceal larceny rather than hold her daughter accountable. Tamar published the memo with her customary fire in-house. Hashtags like, "I'm not a corporation, I'm your daughter, and I was robbed," number Tamar deserved better, number Evelyn knew, number Towanda the thief, and number Justice 4550K, exploded once more. Two of Wanda's Instagram comments stayed off. She shared a single, muted video with the words, "God sees the heart," and a flickering candle. "He sure does, sis, and he saw your hand in Tamar's bank account, too," was one of the captions that quickly appeared after the post was screenshot and published. After pulling Towanda off the show, Toni had remained fairly silent. Through her publicist, she made a rare, succinct, but impactful statement: "Family is one thing, fraud is another." Toni broke her silence with surgical precision. Fans went crazy. Toni was done with Towanda. Toni doesn't play when money is involved. She chose peace and facts over familial fakery. Just when folks thought the dust was settling, another bomb dropped. "I always stand behind truth, receipts, and integrity." Tamar responded, "You think you can steal from me, then play the victim, then try to silence me with legal threats, baby. This is why people don't heal, because the ones who broke them think they can sue the truth away." Towanda filed a legal complaint alleging that the financial document leak had defamed her, and that Tamar's live video had incited harassment and character damage, and created a hostile business environment. She also requested a cease and desist to stop Tamar from posting about her. She paused. "I'm not the villain. I didn't ask for this. I didn't go looking for this drama. I was just trying to get my business off the ground. Now I'm sitting here with nothing while the same people who broke me are filing paperwork like they're the victims." Her voice broke with tiredness. "I'm just the only one in this story who is willing to stop pretending." Behind the scenes, more fissures began to appear. According to reports, Trina told producers she was done filming until things felt safe again. Toni declined to go to a family press event. Tamar withdrew her business deal from the family brand completely and declared she would be going solo from then on. Wanda claimed that she was hiding out in Miami, staying with a friend, avoiding paparazzi, and ignoring requests from the media. Her lawyer issued a boring one-paragraph statement, saying that although Miss Braxton denies any malicious intent and is still dedicated to her family's unity, the reality was that unity was dead. Fans, producers, and even the Braxtons themselves had witnessed a legacy fall apart in real time, not due to rumors, not because of haters, but because one sister decided to betray, and another decided to speak up, and tomorrow she was finally being heard. The storm didn't pass, instead, it intensified. VH1 was now under increasing pressure from the public and internal executives to either completely abandon the Braxton reboot or rebrand it without Towanda. Viewers had made their stance clear: no Towanda, no tolerance. The producers, who had previously been reluctant to get involved in family drama, were forced to acknowledge the obvious. The Braxton brand was collapsing from the inside out, emergency meetings were being held within the network, and the live episode footage was being re-evaluated. More people watched tomorrow's live receipts than the show's own trailer. To make matters worse, advertisers started pulling out, because brand partners didn't want to be linked to unresolved theft accusations and online harassment. One sponsor reportedly sent an email to the production team stating, "Until the issue with Miss Towanda Braxton is addressed with transparency, all of our involvement is being suspended." A day before the live stream became viral, Evelyn left Tamar, saying, you've made your point, baby, but you airing all this is hurting us more. Despite this, Evelyn persisted in demanding silence. Don't allow the devil to ruin what we've created by using your suffering. With a live response, Tamar said, I'm not destroying anything. I'm revealing what's already broken. If the foundation were solid, a little truth wouldn't shake it. The fans went wild, calling out Evelyn's deflection more than before, and thousands of viewers were ultimately realizing that generational gaslighting had permeated every Braxton family reunion special, apology dinner, and healing circle. What had once been seen as noble grace was now recognized as deliberate silence, and even Toni, who had long been seen as the peacekeeper, was no longer playing middle. She allegedly stated, I can't be part of something that rewards betrayal, in a closed-door call with producers that was leaked by a team member. There is significance to my name. I'm leaving if this entertainment becomes just another circus. Towanda's legal threats had officially backfired, and her attempt to portray herself as the victim led to even more public backlash. Fan-made compilations of previous interviews emerged, depicting her minimizing her sister's mental health issues, joking about forgetting things from the past. And repeatedly dismissing Tamar's cries for support. Now Wanda has been playing the calm, silent one, a fan tweeted. Calm, however, isn't clean. It's not holy to be silent. It's computed. In the midst of the chaos, Tamar Rose said that her business project, which had been halted by the missing $1,500,000, would be resurrected on its own without the Braxton name. This time, it's mine, all mine, and clean. She started a GoFundMe because fans wanted a way to help, not because she needed charity, and in less than 48 hours, over $300,000 was raised. The support was overwhelming: Black women in business, family betrayal survivors, and fans who had followed her since Love and War came forward to support Tamar. One fan wrote, "You didn't only endure. The knife they left in your back was transformed into a crown by you." And VH1 made an announcement, just when everyone believed there was no more. The Braxton reboot was being reorganized without Towanda, but it wasn't scrapped. They issued a brief statement. We've had to make the tough choice to continue the series without Miss Towanda Braxton, due to unanticipated ethical and legal issues. We are still dedicated to sharing real tales that connect with our audience. The internet split in two. Tamar shared a straightforward image that fixed something that shouldn't have been damaged. Toni even heartily reposted it. Facts, Trina remarked. Towanda responded. Nothing. Her social media accounts went black. Just silence, no responsibility, no apology. But because Tamar had transformed suffering into meaning, the wave continued despite the silence. Toni as well. She made it very plain that betrayal under the name of sisterhood has no place in this heritage. The filming on the Braxton revival eventually resumed, but the atmosphere on set had radically changed. The moments of phony forgiveness and artificial smiles had vanished. The advertising shots where sisters sat next to each other, as if they hadn't recently betrayed each other a week before, were long gone. This time, a family reckoning was caught on camera in real time. Tamar and Toni, stripped of their publicity and Polish, entered the new production meeting as survivors of dysfunction, betrayal, and decades of quiet wrapped in sisterhood rather than as members of the cast. No mysteries remained. Towanda's footage was preserved, Her storyline was put on hold indefinitely, and she was taken off all production schedules. VH1 affirmed that she will not be coming back. Perhaps never, but not this season. Evelyn, on the other hand, was now engaged in her own conflict. She threatened to sue VH1 for enabling Tamar to publicly disparage her after facing criticism for protecting Towanda and hiding the theft, but the network remained unmoved. They issued a succinct, scathing statement. "We assist every cast member on their path to recovery."